Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be back again with another tool for intuition. And today, Dawn Nocera, my dear, dear friend Dawn, and I are going to be talking about pendulums. This is an area that she has a lot of passion for. So she's going to be introducing the topic to us today. And of course, we'll be doing our interactive thing. So welcome, Dawn.
Hi, thank you. So I wanted to just start out by talking about what is a pendulum and what's it used for? This is my pendulum. Pamela has hers
I
on
have a
her
different
end.
one. Yes.
Uh-huh. And so it's a divination tool. I had to look up the official term before we got on. And we can use it for a lot of things, but it's mostly help us answer questions. We can also use it for finding things on our body. So lots and lots and lots of uses. But I wanted to start by just sharing the mechanics of how to use this. And even before I go into how to use it, I want to start out with how to clear it. um, and there's really, you can clear it with your intention. It doesn't have to have like an official um you know process or ritual clearing. Whatever you start with, you can grow into a deeper clearing for your own pendulum. I like to use pink Himalayan salt. So I'll put salt in a bowl, and then I will sit my pendulum on top of it just to clear it. And I do that not very regularly because I don't have a lot of other people touching my pendulum normally. But I will clean it. I mean, I'm sure some people do it more often than I do, but I go through them probably once a year. So I'm sure people do it more often than I do, but that's how often I do it. Do you clear yours, Pamela? Do you
I
have
had never
another?
dawned on me to do that. How long do you have it sit in the salt?
I just put it in overnight.
Okay.
Yeah, and you
I've
can
never
also
done
do
that.
it. Yeah, you can also do it with moonlight. Like if you just set it on like I have a little sometimes a ray of moonlight that comes in on the windowsill, so I'll set it over there and let the moon clear it. But it's yeah, yeah.
I wear as a necklace also,
Oh,
and so it didn't ever occur to me to clear it, but that's a great idea. Since I wear it as a necklace also, that's probably a really good idea.
yeah. So that's a great, I'm glad that you brought up that you wear a necklace. So my pendulum is an official pendulum from the pendulum place wherever you buy them. And this one was a gift to me from a very good friend. And it usually comes with a little ball or something at the end of it, but you can use a necklace. You can use really anything that has uh, a point on it. In the At the last minute, you can use any one of your necklaces if you have one that has a little bit of weight on the end. And what you want to do is put your put your elbow on a flat surface. And usually I do it just on my desk, but I'm going to raise my hand up while we do this. And so what happens is, and I will put my other hand underneath it for now so you can see, you hold it, and then you want to ask it to, program. You want to know what programming is in your pendulum. So I'm going to do this. So we'll hold this up and I'll say, I want to hold it straight. And I'm going to say, show me your yes. And I'm not sure if you can tell from the video, but it's going towards me and away from me, kind of towards the computer
It's
screen.
just going back and forth.
Yes, back and forth. There you go. But back and forth could be this way, back and forth. No, it's going this way, back and forth. And then I'll say, show me a no. So let's see, hold it and show me a no. And that one is going side to side
Okay,
with a little bit of a circly thing
I
too.
have
So
a
what
different
does yours do?
experience.
Okay, yeah, yours is a
Okay,
different,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna shorten this just a little bit. So, hi, pendulum. Show me no. Mine swings back and forth like yours did for yes,
Right?
and show me yes.
And your
Mine goes
circles.
around in a circle. So we have different, like we did with
Yeah, this is
muscle
great.
testing, we have different ways that we experience the energy. So,
Yeah. So anyways, I forgot to mention that we also want to set the intention with our pendulum before we even ask it to show us our yeses or nos. So what I like to do is I like to do what we talked about in the last video on muscle testing is to get into that state of like answers in the highest good. So
yes.
I will ask it, my pendulum, in my guides and the universe to come in and support me. I like to kind of like clear my energetic space by centering myself and bringing all of myself back into my body, and then allowing uh, guides to come in and help support the process of me using my pendulum in the highest good, in my highest good, and in the highest good of all involved, and the highest good of all humanity. So I'll go all the way, all the way. And at different times, I'll just say at different times, I've had different practices. Like I was trained in with a script. Like, here's the script. This is what you say when you're talking to your pendulum. And I have found for me, having a script does not work. My pendulum does not want to talk to me because, of course, that would make perfect sense if you know me. Having a script or going off of something that somebody else told me was the right way to do is probably not in my highest good. So my pendulum doesn't quite operate very well. It'll be stubborn. It'll just sit right like that and it won't move.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
what
I never knew that scripts existed, so I've always just done it with my
yeah,
inner. Yeah.
yeah. So well, that's good. There's so many different ways to use it. And once you get it, just set the intention like for the highest good of yourself and for the highest good of all involved. You can start asking questions. So before we get started on even asking questions, I'll ask you, Pamela, what's been some of the ways that you use your pendulum, and when do you use it? Or do you have a story about when it really helped you out?
Great question. And by the way, neutral for me, like show me neutral, it just sits still. And sometimes if it's sitting still when I'm asking a question, what I know is I'm not asking a question that it's not formed in the right way. The question isn't, or there's something that needs to be more clear about the question if it just sits, or there's something about the situation I'm asking about that isn't the neutral thing is also giving me information. It's not a yes or no. So that's another thing that also happens. I've been using the pendulum for I don't even know how long. It's just been forever, it seems. And I use it sometimes for myself and sometimes with clients the same way I use muscle testing, which is if there's a situation that needs clearing and my pendulum is close by, I will reach for it. Sometimes it's not.
Hmm.
And I will do muscle testing because it's more convenient because, I don't have to get up and go get my pendulum. I like using it in addition to muscle testing in some circumstances to see if it's coming out the same solutions are coming up. And I also, like just it just really depends on the circumstances, how it gets applied. I can't remember a specific situation that I've used it for that it made a difference because that all blends together for me.
Right.
I don't know if it's muscle testing or pendulum, but it's just another tool. And sometimes it's fun when I'm online with somebody, is they can see like, is my name Pamela? right? Is my name Dawn? Like just, it's really obvious what happens. And so I'll use it with, because I keep it close to, I have another one that looks like this that's green. This is
Mhm.
clear crystal, and then a blue, I can't remember what it is. Somebody gave me this. But I have one that has an Andara in it, and it's a necklace that broke. So part of it has a point, but that's the one I keep by my computer. So yeah, I use it the same way I use muscle testing, just to ask questions, yes or no questions, and get clarity on things if I'm feeling confused, or a client is, or a friend is feeling confused about something, or there's some situation that needs confirmation one way or another.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And this is, you just brought up a uh, one of the ways that I use it a lot actually is, um, as you can imagine, being an intuitive person and being surrounded by intuitive people, we always have, and also being a 5/1 in human design, if that makes any sense, it's a projection field. And Pamela also has a 5 in her human design. So it gets projected upon a lot. So a lot of times I get a lot of people telling me what they think I should be doing, right? So there's like a lot of, uh, I think you should be doing this. So, and when I was younger, doesn't happen like that anymore. But sometimes it does. But this was when this was so helpful for me because if you're doing anything and you've got ideas flying at you and there's 100 of them coming up, you can ask questions about, is that thing in my highest good, right? And that's in just a very simple way. Um, and the same thing is true if you have a lot of things and you're trying to sort out, like, well, which one is it that is the truest of them all? And sometimes they're very conflicting advice that you'll get. I mean, that happens all the time. And even from the most well-intentioned people who've been, who are accurate all the time, it might just be a timing issue. So some people, and we have some friends that see things far out there in the future. And when they tell you something, it might not be this thing for this very second. It might be something that is down the road, like way down that country road you can't see the horizon from. But this is when I use it a lot, is when I'm receiving outside, or I'm attracting, right, information, and I'm trying to sort out like what's for me and what's not, because we are attractive, and when we're working on something, when we have set an intention, we will attract all kinds, like every single thing. And not all of it is for us. And then we just become magnets. So I use that a lot for that. And I will ask, okay, is Sally, I'll use Sally's name. I don't have any Sallys in my life right now. So we'll just ask about Sally's advice. Is Sally's advice in my highest good?
Can't see
And
your
I'm getting
mom.
and I'm getting a yes. So I'm almost wondering, I think I need to find that Sally. Maybe I'll look up my friend Sally that I haven't seen for 20 years. So, because her advice, my pendulum said her advice is good and for my highest good. So that's funny. And most likely, this is a side note, I'll probably go to sleep tonight and I'll remember the advice that Sally gave me 20 years ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was great advice. So that's
Right.
most likely what was. Um, so how would you like to use it, Pamela? Have you ever used it or ever wished that there was you could use it for a different reason?
Yes, and I had this thought about muscle testing after we did our thing last week, right?
Okay.
Of using it, and you mentioned this earlier, so I think it's a good time, is to relate it to body stuff. Like, like For instance, oh, what's something that I would use for body related something? Like, okay, so right now, occasionally I get pain in my lower back if I sit at my computer too long. So I could ask the question, is it in my highest good to get support from a medical person? No. Is it in my highest good to get support from an energetic person? Yes. Is it in my highest good to get down to the core of what the emotional issue is behind it? Yes. Is that something I need help with is that something that I'm going to get the best help with from somebody outside of me? Yes. Right. So I can use it for all of that. If I went to a medical person, would I be in deep trouble with it? Yes. No. I wouldn't be in deep trouble. Is it in my highest good to go to a medical professional? And I still get a no. Yeah. So sometimes I use it for that. Like if there's something going on in my body, what's the resource that's going to help me the most? And then I would go through the list of names of people because I have 3 or 4 different people who can help me with stuff like that because
Mhm.
that's how I do my personal work in the world is getting help.
Yeah.
And then I would ask which person is the best equipped, which ones
Awesome.
be the most effective or best equipped to help me with that particular situation.
Oh, I was going to pull a piece of paper out and show you another way that, oh, I have a blank piece of paper here. I
Yay.
will use it. Um, because you can really do this. This is kind of fun. And I forgot that I had done this at some point. You've got a friend who's far away and you haven't seen them for a while. And maybe they call and they ask you for some body intuition, right? Like just general, random body intuition. Can you help me with my body? You can actually draw a body on a piece of paper that looks somewhat like a body. Mine's going to look like a doughboy, maybe, or Gumby. Gumby.
Okay.
You can actually put this down and allow your pendulum, like right, and put the pendulum. I wish, well, maybe you can see, maybe not. We'll put it like this. So here's my person, and we'll say, we'll just do this I have a friend in mind right now that did not ask for this, but I'm just tuning into her with, and I'm going to check, is it in my highest good that I tune into her body? Uh, is she asking for this? I'm going to use my pendulum. I was just going to let my higher self tell me, but I'm going to use my pendulum. So is it in my highest, is it in my highest good, in her highest good to tune into her body? That's my yes. And is she, put it back in here. Is she asking for it? Yes. So that means I get to give her an email or a text message and let her know that I did this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put this right over top of the center, what I imagine is the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I really wish I had a thing here because you gain your own trust in your pendulum by holding your arm as straight as possible. As
And I've
as
never done that. And it still works for me. So
right, right. And we'll just say sometimes it's helpful for other people to see that that
yeah,
you're you're there. So, and all your people trust you
right. They
without
do.
question. So it doesn't matter.
They
So
trust me with my intuition for sure.
they trust you with your intuition. So I'm going to put this over here, and I don't know if you can see this. You probably
I
cannot
can't.
see this, but it is really like going over to this. It's not swinging at all, but it's kind of moving like right towards this spot,
Okay, which
right?
is what? Because I can't really see.
So it's like I'll
Is that
write
the
it on
arm
here.
or the head?
Nope, it's like this spot. So
Oh, okay, on the left side, on the
yeah.
left side.
And so that would be on the left side for her. I don't know what's going on, but I will send her the simple message. I don't want to get detailed in there because she's not asking for details. I can tell you that, like I know that. But I'm going to say, hey, I did this pendulum test and I got some activity here in your left side organs, because it's organs.
Right.
And I will see what she has to say about
Yeah,
it, because that's the fun part, being curious of like wonder what's going on there. Could be something as simple as, oh, she, fell and hurt her side, and yes, and Dawn, you got it right. Or um, you know, it could be she's got pain there and she's been neglecting getting it checked out. And this will just help her along that path. And maybe she does pendulum testing like Pamelah did with her bag.
right.
Um, so that's one of the ways that I have done this before to help with finding things on your body. You can also do this for finding things in your house and finding things on the map
Yeah,
and finding things.
that's great.
So
Before you go there, I just want to say this woman's energy popped into your field. I just want to say the bigger ask here, the ask and it is given process is she occurred to you because at some level energetically it's a match because you are doing this process right now and the universe orchestrated her consciousness, her or the energy of her to pop into your field versus the other 25 people it could have been, right?
oh, yeah,
And so I
absolutely.
just want to say this is another part of the intuitive process is recognizing that it wasn't a random person that popped in. It was orchestrated somehow by the universe because of the process that we're currently doing. Another layer of consciousness around
Yeah,
intuition.
I think that's pretty helpful for people
Yeah.
who are on their intuitive journey. Like, why did that friend pop into my mind? Of
Yeah.
course, like there is an ask. Um, yeah, yes. And I was checking because she might not have been asking. It could have just been something else on my
And I would
mind.
totally have expected a yes to that ask because of the process energetically that we're in right now. It would be a perfect match for what we're doing because that's kind of how the universe works. So,
Yes. And Pamela trusts that process a lot more than I do, which is why I check with my
yeah.
pendulum. And I'm always and I do ask, I do double check a lot because um I'm very sensitive to the getting into other people's energies without them asking. So I have higher sensitivities to that. And you have higher trust levels that
Yeah.
there's an ask. So yeah. So both work
Right.
and they are both perfect. So
You were going to talk
finding
about
things,
finding things. Yes. I
finding
haven't ever
things.
thought about doing that. So this is
There's
a
so
great
many
idea.
things you can do with pendulums. They're just it's so fun. Um, so if you're looking for something for somebody else, Pamela, is there anything in your that you have lost or that you can't find that you would like to know where it is? I'm just asking, just randomly.
Um, I'm so organized. The answer to that is
Yeah, just never. Well, how about you think of something where it is in your house and we'll see. I mean, I
oh,
don't
you
know if
mean
this will
just
work.
think
I've
about
never,
something that already has its location?
yes.
Okay, and we'll see
Yeah.
when we'll use the pendulum
This
to
is
find it. Okay. I've got something
well,
in mind.
okay. So I'm going to draw my sketch of your apartment. I've been there a few times.
Few times.
Um, mhm. And so the sketch doesn't have to be, oh wow, it has to be more accurate than that. It doesn't have to be super accurate, but you need to know what you're drawing. So that's your apartment. Oh,
Okay.
wait, I forgot to put your kitchen in here. Okay, your kitchen's in there now. And I just put boxes because I don't need anything else, right?
Yeah, and it's just straight I mean, it's just, one great big thing with a bunch of dividers, right? Just one
Yep.
great big square with wall rooms divided.
Hmm. So you're thinking about your thing, right?
I am.
And we are going to do this live, unedited so far, anyways. Where is this item? Okay, hold on. I will do it. I'll make it easy for those of you because you could just like put it in the middle and then look, where is this item? But I'm going to put it in the different rooms. Is it in this room? Hmm. I won't say what that room is yet. Is it in this room? Hmm. Okay. Is it
And
in
so
this room?
you're getting yeses or nos, right? Because we can't.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I should do this like the really live and unedited. And we'll see. Undecided if it's there. That was your bedroom, by the way. Undecided. Is it in? Do you have more than one thing that you're looking? Oh, this is a swing and a no. Okay, I'm going to move into your bathroom, your bedroom bathroom. Hmm. Sort of
You
just
asked
sitting
the
there.
question, is the item that Pamela's thinking about? Is that the
And
question you asked?
is the item that Pamela is thinking about in the
Yeah, that's the
room?
question that you asked. Yeah.
Yes, is the item that Pamela is thinking about in the room. And I would like for you to, I mean, like most of them, they're getting like this no
Okay.
movement. So I've gone through all of them, but I'm going to put it on the one that I first did, and we'll see what it does this time. And that's my yes. So is the item that you're thinking about in your kitchen?
Yes,
It
it is.
is live and unedited. It was the first one I put on, like, it can't be that easy. So then I went through
You
all
weren't
of them.
trusting yourself, and so you went through all the
Right.
rooms.
Yes, exactly. And also for the purpose of the video, like
Right.
I might as well
Demonstrated.
go through all of them. Literally live and unedited. It's in the kitchen.
And that was the first one you got.
Yeah, that was the
But
first
you
one I
didn't
got.
say anything to me about it because if you did, then you wouldn't have gone through the rest of the process.
That is correct.
Right.
And I wouldn't have gone through the rest of them. I wouldn't have had variations to show or to even demonstrate like what it does sometimes. Like for some of them, it kind of just, there was like, maybe there's something in another room, that maybe there's another one like that in another room. But it wasn't, wasn't giving me a yes or no. It was just sort of staying.
So it
So
was
that
my
was
garage.
interesting.
I have two garage door openers. It's my big one that sits on the kitchen counter, and I carry one in my purse, which sits on my dining room table, which is next to the kitchen, but it's
Oh,
not, and I got very clear about focusing on the big one that's
got
in the
it.
kitchen. So energetically, it
You were
was it.
focused.
Yeah.
Yep. So there you go.
And I
Live and
never put my
unedited.
purse in other rooms. But every once in a while, I might take my purse into my office art room to sort through it and clean it out. But I
Hmm.
hardly ever do that. But then the garage door opener would go with me into that room. So,
So, and I've done this finding things for people before, and I will have to say, sometimes you just have to, if they say it's not there because I looked and it's a lost thing, you just have to let it go because sometimes we get so the way the mind works, like if you think you can't find it, you're not going to see it. So let it just let them go. And then they'll come back in there and they'll say, you know what? I did find it. It was in the place I looked. I looked 5 times and there it was. Of course, you knew that.
and so how I also find things, because I don't necessarily do it as a pendulum, never dawned on me to do that, but that would be a great idea, is I ask, show me, where it is.
Mm.
And this necklace, by the way, when I went to LA in July, I put it in my purse, and I have a new purse and it's got a lot of really deep corners. And I looked through my purse and it was in this container, which is dark, and I couldn't
Uh-huh.
find it. And then like 2 weeks later, I just had to let it go, like I left it in LA or something, which I knew I hadn't, but I just let it go. And then 2 weeks later, I'm looking in my purse and again, and there it is.
Yeah.
So sometimes the detachment from it is also an important part of the process.
Yeah. Which is the to the point of why do we do this for other people is because sometimes they're just too attached. They can't access their intuition as easy as we can when we're just not attached to any outcome, whether or not we're
Right.
right or wrong, or whether it's there or not there, whether they find it or don't find it. So that's kind of fun. Um, any other questions? Like
I
you can
have
just
another way to use it
okay.
is to create a thing with all the letters of the alphabet.
Oh yeah.
You can do it on two sides, like, 13 on top and 13 of them on the bottom, and then ask questions and go one letter at a time. Like, spell out for me something like what I used to do on Ouija boards when I was a kid,
I
right?
know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or you could put dates on a calendar, or you can put 12 months on a calendar if you're asking questions about timing for something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, what is it in my highest good to go on vacation or to get this book finished by, or whatever it is, right? So, you can do that, or, go through the days of a calendar or whatever thing that you can create on a physical map of some sort. Yeah.
Yes.
You can do
There's
that.
so
And
many
also
uses.
with a body. Yeah, the other thing I was thinking about with a body is show me if there's any part of my body that is wanting specific attention right now. Because I may not be paying attention to it. Like I may not be
Yeah.
exercising that part of my body or whatever, just like show me. And the show me also is another way to ask the question for things like that.
Yes. Very good. You just reminded me of another thing. I used to uh do like for all of the different areas of life, I would do an energy reading for, like the different, like how are aligned is somebody with their purpose, right now. And you can't be off your purpose, right? Pamela
Right. Not
has probably
ever.
said that a million times, but you can't
But
really
you
be off
might
your
not
purpose.
be really aligned with expressing it.
Right. And sometimes, you might just feel a little resistance to it. So it's the alignment. It's really, how aligned is the person with their purpose. And I would go through all the different, with their goals, and it was the 12 seeds. I'd go through each one of those with everybody, with their money, their health, all those different areas. And I would find kind of like you were doing with the ABCs. I would do like 1 to 12. And I tell you what, the pendulum was super helpful in that, just to help me have a measurement of where the frequency was, where the alignment, like what, 1 to 10, what's the alignment? So that was super helpful. Trying to think if there's any, I mean, once you start using your pendulum and if you like it, because some people like to have a pendulum, some people aren't, it kind of phases in and out. Uh, but when you really get into it, it has so many really unlimited ways that you can use it, as well as muscle testing. You could probably go through, is it an A? Is it a B?
Right. Yeah.
But
It's probably this is
pendulum.
probably faster for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I want to say about that is like let your imagination go with you. Nothing is wrong. The biggest thing you want to do though is set the intention and ask very clear questions. And Pamela is super good at asking the clear questions. And did you want to say anything else
From
about the
practice.
questions and
From
practice?
practice. I mean, I've had to
Right.
learn how to
Yeah.
formulate the questions. That in itself is an art for getting help from divination tools.
I think that that's a great place to sort of like close this too, probably. I'm sensing is like understanding that as you start using the pendulum, like your ability for the people who are doing this, their ability to ask better questions is going to get better the more they practice it. And uh, there's no wrong question either. It's just keep asking questions and you will begin to kind of fine tune for yourself. Yeah.
I think we were talking also last time is sometimes if you don't like the answer,
Oh, okay.
rephrase the question.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the answer may not be in alignment with what you feel or you kind of know energetically. And so there may be, you may need to narrow down the content of the question or get more focused or more specific about something because it might be too broad, which is also another thing that can happen. Like if the question is too broad, you may get a neutral response, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's not, it's too big a picture to be working with.
Right. That's a good point.
And sometimes I also notice if I'm wanting to ask about future stuff, it will give me a neutral answer.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People love using divination tools to like divine the future, like what does the universe have in store for my future? But from my experience, I'm sure yours as well, the future is so changeable.
So
Like even asking the question about what's my future and how you respond to that can change the future. So it's such a yeah.
I'll give you a quick thing around the book that I'm writing, all right? So
Okay.
because when we were doing the muscle testing, what came up last week was writing 4 days a week. We're doing writing 4 days a week. Okay.
Okay.
So if is writing 4 days a week still in my highest good? Is it a reasonable expectation that I will have a draft by the end of October, mid-November? Okay, so like that's kind of a, but I didn't say like November 13th or 12th or 15th, right? But for me, that helps me get focused on staying with it and having a goal. Like if it said January, it would be easy for me to slack off and not write and wait, right? So, oh, mid-November, that's like a little bit over a month away. I really need to stay with this. And there's probably a higher reason, and I don't know what that is at this point, for having a draft done in November, mid-November, for whatever the next step is, which I'm not sure what that is, right? I don't know if it's
Yeah.
an editing step or a let's review it step or I don't know.
Let somebody read it step.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's great.
well, I meet with Melanie every week and she's hearing what I'm writing, so I am getting some feedback. But yeah, to have someone go through the whole thing and have it make sense. So yeah, there are lots and lots of different ways to use pendulums and muscle testing, and it's fun.
It
It's
is
fun to do
fun.
it with other people. And the biggest issue I run into with people is not trusting, right? They don't trust the tool or they don't trust themselves or they think they can't do it or they've told themselves they can't do it, so they can't do it. And so it's just learning to trust. It's another kind of intuitive trust process for me.
Yeah. I have found that the like I think because I'm so curious and sometimes I get bored using the same tools all the time, like I've learned to trust a lot of different tools, but my trust isn't kind of the same as yours, right? It's different because I'm a different person. Um, but you just find the one that is working for you and that you can trust in the moment. I mean, right now, like I have a few people that text me, like, could you just pull a card? I just had that happen to me, not last night, but the night before. Just a card. Nothing, no questions asked. I mean, I don't know the question, so I did pulled a card, took a picture and sent it back to them. They can read it. And they were like, thanks, love it, perfect. Yeah, I have no idea. But that's how unattached I am to the process. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking me to do this. This was just a fun time. There's
Totally.
more to come.
Yes, totally.
All right. All right. I stopped